Chapter 13. A Voice Beneath the Leaves. To hear the forest, do not listen with your ears. Listen with what grows behind them. From a whisper passed between two birch seeds. 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 I awakened with the texture of bark pressed gently against my cheek, the grooves rough but familiar. During the night, the roots had subtly rearranged themselves. Their positions had changed just enough to cradle my body more carefully, curving like the fingers of a resting hand. The soil beneath me had grown supple, pliant. It did not feel like ground anymore. It felt like breath held in place and exhale paused for my sake. The pool nearby reflected no sky. Its surface was still, perfectly still, as though trying not to remember what had been taken from it. My companion was nowhere to be seen. I reached for it instinctively and found only air, my fingers brushing cold emptiness that remembered its shape. I rose slowly, my joints stiff from sleep, but my senses more alert than usual. The world around me felt suspended in a strange moment between dreaming and waking. The fog clung low, dense but not suffocating, filling the spaces between branches with a pale green light. Droplets hung suspended from the canopy above, beating at the tips of leaves, but never falling, as if the entire forest was waiting for a decision yet unspoken. Rather than return to the clearing or to the mast, I moved toward the deeper trees, toward the place I had avoided for days without knowing why, a place whose silence had always seemed too complete, too intentional. The grove wasn't marked by size. Its trees were not tallest. Their width did not set them apart. But something in their bearing made them impossible to ignore. Their bark was polished by time, by silence, by attention. Their limbs were not chaotic or sprawling. They rose and curved as if sculpted into a single breathing shape. Above, the canopy stitched itself into deliberate patterns, like a language too large to be read from the ground. As I crossed between two of the elder trunks, something in me adjusted. My breath caught. The air changed its density, not colder but thicker, like stepping into a memory that was not my own. The atmosphere didn't grow louder. It grew more exact. Every surface became sharper, though nothing moved. Every scent held a story just under the threshold of recognition. There was no sound. But there was listening. And then came something else. Not speech, not sound. A presence. It came not from the canopy, nor from the earth, but from the web that stretched between them. A shaped breath, an awareness cast like mist. It moved not with urgency but with patience, as if it had waited a long time to be noticed, and now that I had arrived, it would not hurry its meaning. There was no voice, but there was utterance. Not heard in the ear but in the spine, in the pressure between ribs. I felt it spiral through me, not entering but awakening something latent. It coiled around the memory of language before it was born. It did not say my name, but it knew I had one. I did not speak. I stood still within the hush, listening, without knowing what it was I waited for. The presence did not approach. It unfolded. It existed in the space between bough and leaf, between soil and breath. And it was not singular. It was the forest. Not a part of it. Not a part of it. Not a spirit within. The entirety. Its memory, its breath, its thought. Everything that grew or had once grown. I felt the echo of bird nests long empty, the hushed reverence of roots around the bones of forgotten creatures, the warmth of moss where rain had slept. And I was not a visitor. I was a word it had not finished saying. The sound of the rhythm continued, Leaves did not rustle. They conversed. Branches did not creak. They leaned. The trunks around me shifted ever so slightly, not toward me, but toward each other, as if my presence had called forth a discussion. I was not being judged. I was being remembered. Something touched my shoulder. Not physically. The awareness did. It curled around the memory of a touch. I felt it like wind without air, like the silence after a name is spoken and no answer comes. The pressure of it traveled down my spine and into the roots beneath me. My body became part of the clearing's breath. I thought of the stone then, not because I missed it, but because the feeling was the same. The hum, the weight that wasn't weight, the way it had never spoken, yet always made itself known. Its absence was not absence. It was continuity. Here in this place, the stone did not return, but something of it did. I recognized its shape not in matter, but in resonance. It had prepared me for this, or perhaps it had come from this. The forest and the stone had shared something before me. I was only their meeting place. Time passed differently beneath those branches. Minutes were not counted. They were held, folded, given back with something added. I don't remember choosing to sit, but I found myself on the ground, spine to root, eyes tracing the paths of light that trickled down. They weren't beams, they were strands, threads of woven awareness drifting through green shadow. A single leaf descended without falling, turning slowly through the air as if caught in a dream of descent. It landed beside my hand, soft and broad and veined in gold. There was something etched into it. Not a word, not a mark, but a line, spiraled faintly, curling inward as if to lead me somewhere I already was. I ran my finger along the line, and it tingled as if the pattern had been waiting to be touched. I lowered my head, not in sleep, but in reverence. I stayed there for a long time, listening without sound. The forest breathed, and I breathed with it. And in that moment, I understood. The forest did not speak to me. It remembered me. And I, at last, had begun to remember it. Not through thought, but through stillness. And through stillness, I was beginning to speak back.